Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Science Save Sharks. My name is Dickie Chivell, and today joining me is Alina Pryazhkina. Thank you very much for coming today, Alina. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Dickie. So nice to see your face on a lockdown face. Very, very good to see you. And everyone who joined us. Thank you, guys.
Yes, guys, thank you very much for joining. So, guys, today is another episode, and we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic. Today, we're going to be covering shark fishing. Now, obviously, a lot of people will have to say do's and don'ts and this and that, but what we're going to be discussing today is what do we gain? And most importantly, guys, what are we losing from exploiting sharks? We have Alina here. We're going to be covering some questions. I've got a lot of questions that I set up for Alina, and you guys are welcome to chirp in. We want your answers. We want your questions, and anything that we won't get to today on our Q&A, that we won't get today on our live, we will answer on Friday on our Q&A. So Esa, thank you very much. Hello, bro. Nice. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching. Beatrix, what's up? Thank you very much for tuning in. So, guys, we're almost going to jump right into it. We just want to let you know who we are. So, my name is Dickie Chivell. As I said, we work for a company called Marine Dynamics, straight out of Gansbaai, 2 hours away from Cape Town, South Africa. We are a shark cage diving and whale watching company, but we also do various research projects, various conservation projects, various educational projects. And Alina, I'm going to let you do your own intro. So that's my side of the things, guys. I'm a skipper and a guide, as well as I do some filming for Shark Week for Discovery Channel. Alina is on our research. I'm going to let you do your thing.
Thank you, Dickie. So my name is Alina Pryazhkina. Dickie, well done on the pronunciation. Very, very good job. I know it's a difficult one. It comes from Russia. I am from Russia. Guys, I've been with Marine Dynamics since 2013. That was the first time where I volunteered with them and through Marine Dynamics Academy. And then I did my internship with the company as well. And now I'm pretty much long-term volunteer here helping with the research and studies and doing all the cool job. All the fun
stuff. You get to do some of the cool stuff. Yes, man. So, guys, yeah, Alina, it's awesome being out there with you. So, guys, we're almost out on a daily basis, weather dependent, or as Kelly and I said on previous chats, pandemic dependent. We're almost out there every single day working with these sharks. But today, we're going to be talking about shark fishing. This is not really what we are experiencing this on a daily basis, and we will be covering this a bit later on. But the first question to set it up, Alina, is let's lead it in. Alina, why are sharks important to the marine ecosystem as a whole?
That's a very good question. I mean, it's probably one of the most important questions because, first of all, you and me, and I'm sure most of the people who are watching us right now are very, very fond of those animals because they're so impressive, they're so powerful and beautiful.
For sure.
And definitely. But also why they're so important is because they are pretty much essential key species for their ecosystems they're in. So most of the sharks, they are apex predators, and their main function is to maintain the species below them. So they help to remove the sick and the weak individuals, therefore maintaining the prey populations healthy. So they help them out as well, and they affect the whole ecosystem in a cascade effect. So it goes from the top to the bottom, and by controlling the numbers of and spatial distribution in potential prey. I'm just going to give you a quick example. It's very simple. Yes. The graph is very simple, so it's just to make it easier to understand what I'm talking about when I mean cascade. So this is the example of our coral reef ecosystem, and example of taking the sharks out of that equation. What would happen? That would cause an increase in smaller predators such as groupers. That's the second from the top. And groupers, they are feeding on the herbivore fish. So the herbivore fish, they are absolutely essential because what they do, they are responsible for removing an excessive microalgae growth. If the microalgae growth, if it overtakes the reef, what happens is just leads to the phase shift. So it goes from the nice three-dimensional structure where there's a lot of refugee, a lot of different ecosystem within this whole big ecosystem. It just removes the whole thing, and it becomes very rubbery and algae dominant reef, which is not a very, very good thing for the ecosystem. And that's just a simple example how one species, if it's removed, it can affect the whole thing. Kind of a butterfly effect, but on the opposite
That's
scale.
awesome, Alina. Thank you very much for that graph. And guys, we've actually seen that between Alina and I, and everybody that works with me in the Kleinbaai area would be able to agree with you, because we've seen it with different species, not just sharks, but for instance, we have a shellfish called abalone. Abalone, it's world famous. It's also very popular in the Asian market, and it gets poached in our area quite extensively. Now, with the poaching of the abalone over the past few years, we've seen an excessive rise in kelp growth, like a super excessive areas where we never used to see kelp, because not only does the abalone feed on the smaller kelp that's just starting to grow, it also takes up the space. So Shark Alley, for instance, is overgrown with kelp now. It's like a wall basically that is it's stopping our bigger predators from moving like they used to. So definitely just removing one species, not even an apex predator like the sharks, but a smaller shellfish from the ecosystem has a massive effect. So that's strike one already, Lena. Thank you very much for that information. That graph made it very easy to see what you're talking about. But so for the people who aren't convinced, hey guys, for you guys, why should we care? Alina, why should we care about consuming sharks or not? If there's another reason, there's a million reasons, but
there's a million reasons. So as I said, they are important, and a lot of people might think, okay, so we fish them, they just bounce back, their population bounces back. It's not quite the case with sharks. It can be very, very tricky to actually create a sustainable fishery on a large scale, simply because of the biology of the sharks. Most of the sharks, they're very, very long-living animals, and it takes them quite some time to actually get mature. So if we take our great white sharks as an example, we know that white sharks, they live over 70 years, very similar to humans, and it takes them such long time to get mature. So for a female great white shark to get to the point where she can give birth to a next generation, it takes, just listen to that, 12 to 20 years. That's a very, very long time. And obviously, if you take those sharks out of the water, and if there is no population to actually try and bounce back from the collapse that happened, it's very, very difficult to maintain that population.
Wow, Alina, that is incredible. I mean, guys, listen to that statistic. 12 to 21 years for certain sharks to reach sexual maturity. Isn't that insane? That's like a human teenager. And to think about, there's various statistics. So there's various statistics relating to how many sharks we catch here. One of the most accurate ones that I know about is 100 million sharks. Now, I don't even want to say that on this live chat because it's almost too ridiculous to comprehend. 100 million. But what I will say with confidence is millions and millions and millions of sharks are getting fished out every year. And when we're listening to Alina right now, 12 to 21 years for sexual maturity, these animals are living 70 years and upwards. They've got human lifespans. In no way is that sustainable. Am I correct, Alina, in
no,
saying
absolutely,
that?
definitely. You're definitely right in saying that. Absolutely. It's pretty much impossible to actually make this fishery industry sustainable.
Yes. So, guys, when we're looking at this, these are looking at facts. These are not just biologists. I'm not a biologist. Alina is, and the rest of our team are. And I'm sure there's many shark lovers like myself alike that are looking at this and going like, firstly, these sharks are incredibly crucial to a balanced ecosystem. Secondly, fishing them in the millions. Firstly, we don't know. We're establishing why fishing them. but also fishing them in the millions cannot be sustainable because of the lifespan and the ecological, not just lifespan, but the way of these animals. They're schooling species, so it obviously makes it easier to catch them as a whole. Moving on from that is, we've covered why are sharks important to the ecosystem, but why are we catching them, Alina? I know shark fin soup is a big thing. That's gotten a lot of media coverage. But why are we actually catching the amount of sharks that we are?
So you are right. I would say shark fin soup is the most known thing why people think that we are fishing sharks. As you said, it got the most media coverage, which is not a bad thing. I'm very glad that this topic actually got some coverage and got some attention from the public. It's a very, very good thing. But also, not in a lot of countries it is allowed to do finning. Finning is just cutting off the fins and dumping the body of the shark back into the ocean. Not everywhere in the world it is allowed.
Horrible.
So the meat production is quite a big industry. People do consume meat, and most of the time people don't even know that they are eating shark meat. Most of us, we know how pork or beef or lamb looks like on the shelf. Also, most of the time it's labeled as such in most countries, pretty much everywhere around the world. But I'm just going to give you a glimpse of how shark meat looks like.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
What are we looking at? What are we looking at?
You tell me, Dickie, which one is the shark meat? What do you think?
Well, Alina, since this is take 6, guys, I've spoken to Alina before. I know on the left-hand side, we are looking at shark, but I'm going to let her to explain to you. And just while she's explaining it, look at the incredible similarities for the consumer when it comes to what's shark and what's not shark.
Absolutely. I'm sure I didn't choose the right person to guess, because you're not our average consumer. You do know quite a lot about the sharks and how they would look like. But yeah, you're absolutely right. On the left-hand side, this is our short fin mako shark. And on the right side, this is our king mackerel. So guys, short fin mako shark, I'm just going to show you how it looks like in the wild and alive.
Please, guys, please.
I know it's one of your favorite sharks as well, Dickie.
It's one of my favorite sharks in the world. Look at how incredible. And guys, once again, we want to state that we're not targeting people. We're not telling the consumer, you guys are eating this and stuff. What we're basically getting to is most shark lovers, a lot of people that are eating this product don't know that that's what they're eating. But look at that shark. Oh my word. Oh my word.
Absolutely. This is our thresher shark. This is the fillet of thresher shark, and it is one of my favorite species actually. And this is a thresher shark.
Look at that! Look at his full face! Wow!
I know.
It's an incredible shark, guys. So,
but guys,
what
the problem
you're actually saying, Alina, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry,
but what you're actually saying is, people don't know that this is what they're actually eating, right? Is that what we're getting to?
Exactly. So most of the time, shark meat is masked as some fancy name like dogfish or sokomoro. Sokomoro actually means our short fin mako shark, and many other names. So when you get to the shop, to the fish and chip shop, or to just a grocery shop, you don't really know what you're buying. So people, obviously, there is no demand for sharks. People don't really want to eat sharks, and this comes to the point where producer, they would like to change the name and to trick people a little bit. And most of the countries, there's not really, it's not against the law to change the name of a species, unfortunately.
So I know about a few things, guys. Certain names, I'm sure Alina can give us a few of them. I'm sure there's a lot of them, but certain names that I know we should look out for is flake. Flake is getting sold in Australia, right, as fish and chips, Alina?
Yes, absolutely. So flake is one of them. Flake, this is our bronze whalers that we do have around the cage as well. Bronze whalers, copper sharks, also known as narrow tooth sharks. Guys, all of that's the same species of sharks. And unfortunately, in South Africa, that shark is being legally fished, commercially fished, and being exported to Australia. In Australia, it's sold as flake. It's not a type of shark, it's not a type of fish, it's just a type of fish meat. It's just white fishy meat. And it can be anything. It can be our bronze whalers, it can be our smooth hound sharks as well. And most of the time it is sharks, unfortunately. And people don't even know that they are eating sharks when they buy fish and chips.
Guys, that's incredibly sad because our bronzies, talking about bronze whalers, so it's a beautiful species of shark that we have around the cage diving boats. We have them here in South Africa. They're actually global. There's a lot of places that have bronze whalers. Do we have a picture of that, Alina?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So does that look like flake and chips, everybody? I wouldn't say that it does, eh? If you're considering the name flake and then thinking about a shark, is that one of your pictures?
It is, Dickie, yes. It is.
Well, it says your name at the bottom. so it's definitely one of your pictures. Oh, that's a stunning photo, Alina. Is he rolling his eye? Is he rolling his eye backwards? What's he
nice spotting, Dickie. So with our great white sharks, to protect their eyes, they roll their eyes backwards. So that's correct. But with bronze whalers, with our requiem sharks, it's a little bit different. What they have a nictitating membrane, and that's exactly what you're seeing over there. It is pretty much acts as a third eyelid, and it protects their vision. Vision is very important for sharks as well.
So it's like another eyelid, like that movie Venom, where they just like like a different eyelid. Okay, so guys, firstly, we've established sharks are incredibly important to the ecosystem. We know this, right? To have a healthy and balanced ecosystem, it takes them very long to sexually mature. And with the amounts that we're taking out, it is not sustainable to be catching sharks as a whole. People are being misled. Alina, just beforehand, do you have a few names that we can look out for as a consumer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to, I'm going to write some of them down.
Go for it. Well, it's very difficult for me to say all the names because obviously all around the world they do use different names for different types of meat, different types of sharks. But the ones that you see on the bottom on the screen, guys, you can just take a note of those. So flake, as we were discussing, husk, dogfish, catfish, mocky, rock salmon. If you guys live in the UK,
I'm just making scribbles because I can't write that fast.
sorry. Okay. But guys, this live session is going to be on recorded, so you can always be very welcome to get back to it and read those names.
So we've got flake, dogfish, sokomora, husk.
Yeah, okay, all these names, but yeah, guys, Gummy as well.
Gummy.
As I said, it is quite impossible for us to list all the names. But if you're being a little bit vigilant, I'm sure you are able to find out what exactly you're eating.
Yes, for sure, guys. There's different guides that you can follow, like the SASSI, SASSI. That I know it's a South African initiative. Yes. Yeah. The South African Sustainable, it's at the bottom there, SASSI. Please go check the SASSI guide. It'll educate you a bit more on the fish species that you're eating, what you should not be eating besides sharks. So we've covered, basically, it's 3-0 already for shark fishing. And we're not just, guys, this was an actual debate. We're waiting for your comments. Please tell us why it's good. But I think all of us love sharks. Lastly, I want to get to something, Alina. Is it actually good for someone to be consuming sharks?
No, absolutely not. It's definitely not the healthiest dietary choice. I would not recommend anyone eating sharks. It's simply because it's such a large animal. It lives a long life. So it has this much time to accumulate a lot of metals, a lot of pollutant in their bodies. So when you eat that shark, you're eating all that metal, all that pollutant. With smooth hound shark that goes into flake, guys, have been tested, and it actually is said that there is 14 times of acceptable normal metals. 14 times. Just think about it.
That's insane. That's insane.
Absolutely. So Yeah, I would definitely not recommend, guys. The metals that are in the body of the shark can actually cause some neurological diseases. Well, can increase the chances of developing those neurological diseases like dementia, and also would affect the development of children's nervous system as well. So I would definitely not recommend eating that.
No, dude. Lastly, not even firstly, guys, it's poisonous eating sharks. So it's 4-0. I don't really have that many other questions pertaining to sharks specifically, but guys, we've realized that it's not sustainable. We are catching millions of sharks a year, and please look out for those specific names that Alina mentioned when it comes to consuming, because we saw how close the resemblance is to when you're actually eating a shark that you just don't know as a consumer when you're actually thinking you're eating fish and chips. So, apart from consumption, Alina, is there anything else that they're using the sharks for that they're catching on an incredibly large scale? Anything else that we can look out for?
Absolutely. So, besides the meat and the fins that are consumed, what is also utilized in the shark is their livers. So, we know that sharks, as most people know, they're fish, but they're not your bony fish. So, they don't have swim bladders. When it comes to the buoyancy, they do rely on their livers, and in their livers, that's exactly where they find this special compound. It's called squalene. Guys,
Squalene.
it's squalene.
Oh,
It is
it's at the
extracted
bottom of
from
the
the
screen,
oil.
guys. Check it
There you
out.
go, guys.
Squalene.
There you go. There. So, guys,
There, guys. It's over there. Cool.
exactly, guys. So it is extracted from the oil that is in their livers, and that's how they actually control their buoyancy with that much oil in their livers. Excuse me. And guys, obviously, when you buy cosmetics, they wouldn't put shark liver oil. They would put this compound. So squalene is exactly what you're looking for if you want to avoid the shark product. It can be in your moisturizer, in your lipstick, in your lip gloss, also in some of your pet food as well. So if you want to avoid that, I would recommend just taking a note of that word and just check with your labels on all your products. So
Yes.
that's one of the ways. Also, I just want to mention real quick the cartilage as well. So guys, the
Cartilage.
cartilage, as I said, they're not bony fish. They don't have bones, they have cartilage. And a lot of people, some people, they do believe that if you take it as powder or as pills, so it's kind of like a supplement.
Asians.
Not
not
no
just,
no
not
no.
just. I just threw that out there. I just threw that out there.
uh,
I know it's big in those markets, but yes, not just them.
no, it's actually very, very, very worldwide used. It's used most of the time. It's used as cancer treatment, and people believe that because sharks, well, that's the misleading information there that sharks can't have cancer, can't have tumors, and that's why people think that taking their cartilage it will help them with their cancer treatment. But there's absolutely no clinical evidence of that. So it's didn't there was no scientific proof that. Shark cartilage can help the cancer treatment, and it is a
Exactly.
myth
There is no
about the shark.
scientific basis. It's basically, guys, it's consuming, it's the same as rhino horn, lion bones, shark fin soups, which we started off with, pangolin scales. There's no scientific basis that this actually has a benefit to your health. Am I right, Alina?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is no evidence there. As I said, there is a myth about the shark. So people do get some kind of correlation between sharks less likely to get tumors or cancer, and they think if they take that product, that would help them out as well. But as I said, no proof whatsoever there.
So, guys, please check out. In our modern days, obviously, we're checking out what our food entails, what everything we're consuming, what everything we're using. It has that list of ingredients. At least it has to have that. And I think we're all, especially in this time, looking at what we're consuming. So look out for that squalene, because Alina, as Alina said, squalene, it is a shark product for sure. So check out for that in your not necessarily just sanitary, but your cosmetic products as well. And then, Alina, obviously it has a massive effect on us here in Gansbaai. The exploitation of sharks, the bronze whalers, the longliners that are being unregulated. Please, can you tell us a bit more about sharks and how they move, and how is it
Absolutely.
elaborate? Like, yes, please.
Absolutely. So a lot of people think, especially when it comes to white sharks, that well, they are protected species. They are CITES protected species, guys. CITES, it is a convention on international trade of endangered species. But the thing is that there is a problem with overlap with our fishery. So on the graph that you see right now, by the way, guys, the graphs that I'm using right now, this is from a paper, very, very special paper. It's called Global Spatial Risk Assessment of Sharks Under the Footprint of Fisheries. So
Wow.
by the name, you
Big
understand
name,
that
man.
it is a big name, but just to break it down, it's how the sharks space use overlaps with the efforts of fishery. So it's actually quite easy, guys. It's quite an incredible paper as well. Our senior biologist Alison Towner, and also our former Marine DICT biologist Oliver Jewell, guys, they are co-authors on this paper, and there are not less but 150 authors on that paper. Imagine the effort of collaboration that it took. It's absolutely incredible, guys. If you want to read it, it is on Nature. I'm just gonna take a note quickly if people are interested in reading that, guys, on Nature, but you would have to pay for that. On our DICT website, guys, you can have a read. We do have a blog on that as well. But yeah, guys, I'm just gonna explain quickly. This is the effort of sharks. So this is how sharks travel and where they go, different species, many species. And guys, on the next graph, you can see pretty much the overlaps. The blue dots that you see, guys, this is where the sharks that were tagged, they were caught. So you see exactly that they were all caught on the fishery efforts, where the long-line fishery fleets are. Guys, with long lines, you can't really control it, because if you are caught on the long line, and you already die. So you can't control it. You can't really control what you're getting out of the water. So this is the main problem with our long lines.
That's an extensive overlap on the map you showed previously, Alina. Is that the same? Is it an overlapping map?
So Dickie, this is just the effort of sharks.
Yes. Wow, man, that's an incredible overlap on where the guys are fishing compared to where these tagged sharks are. Wow!
Absolutely.
Wow! Wow! it's
no, absolutely.
Really
with white sharks in the western Indian Ocean, it's the overlap is around 64%. Just imagine that number. They don't really have much place to go to actually have a refugee.
Yeah. Well. When it comes to the tagged animals and the fishing routes, it's almost. You're saying 60%, but we're seeing all that overlap where just tagged animals have been caught in that span. So wow, that's it's very sad.
No, absolutely.
And I don't want to laugh or boast or whatever about it. It's incredibly sad to see that incredible amount of overlap. So, Alina, it's 5-0 for shark fishing, guys. If you guys have been watching from the beginning, 5-0. Don't fish sharks, but
don't eat sharks.
Yes, don't eat them. It's not healthy for you. That's one of the strikes. So, Alina, where can we, as the consumer, as me, go find out more about this specific topic? If I want to help, if I want to not be part of the problem, where we go?
Ready. So it's, as I said, first of all, just check what you're eating. Check exactly what's on the label. Guys, you're very welcome to visit this website that you can see right now on the screen. It is Shark Free Chips website. Marine Dynamics, they took part into creating this website. It is mostly about the flake. So as I said, bronze whalers or copper sharks that are being exported to Australia. But it's a very, very, very easy website to kind of navigate. And there is plenty of information, guys. We covered some of the topics that are covered on that website. But if you want to go and take action and be quite active about it, you're very welcome to visit that website. You can see it's a very pretty website as well. Very, very well done.
So, guys, check out this website. I'm not even going to ask you. I'm going to say, go to www.sharkfreechips.com. Check it out. It's an initiative between us, Marine Dynamics, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. And for those of you watching me from Shark Week Discovery Channel side, he's a co-star of mine on Shark Week, Chris Fallows, the legend. If you've seen a photo of a shark breaching on Earth, it's most likely him. So it's Apex Shark Adventures as well as Marine Dynamics. We have this website, Shark Free Chips. Go check it out. And if you don't want to consume sharks, if you want to help with in any way when it comes to the fishing, the shark fishing industry or whatever, go check out Shark Free Chips. Please go check it out. It is the link in bio on my Instagram for those of you that follow me on my Insta. And then while I'm talking about other platform, please follow the Marine Dynamics YouTube. We're posting really cool content on that as well. And yes, there we go. At the bottom, subscribe to the Marine Dynamics YouTube channel. We would like to take you live with Alina and myself as we're just doing normal trips, shark tagging, tracking, etc. We would like to take you live on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you very much for joining, Alina, and thank you super much for the facts, because I learned a ton.
Thank you, Dickie. Thank
in
you
this
so
live
much.
session. Thank
Cheers
you very
for having
much,
me.
man.
It's a pleasure. Can't wait to be out at sea, to be fair.
Yes.
But
yes,
I just
same.
want to say thanks to everyone who joined us. It was such a pleasure, guys. And please do ask us those questions, guys. On Friday, I can't wait to be back with you and answering those questions with Dickie.
Yes, man, guys. So Alina and I will be back on Friday. Kari, do we have one cool question that we can answer? We hope there's not too. Oh, Kareem. Okay. Thank you, Alina and Dickie. Such an interesting and informative session. Well, thank you, Kareem. Thank you for being you. Really great session. Oh, you guys are making hi from Russia with love.
Hello.
That's insane.
Привет из ЮАР.
Sorry, I got so excited.
You got
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. And Alina, can't wait to be live with you on Friday.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Remember to check out our YouTube and, guys, Shark Free Trips.
Alrighty, guys, thank you so much. And check out just take those notes that we told you already and check out that website. Thank you so much again for joining us. Cheers, Dickie.
Cheers, Alina.
Bye-bye.